Have you always wanted to know the difference between airbrush and traditional makeup? Stay tuned to find out. If you want to ensure that your airbrush makeup will last longer on your skin, then it's always better to use the silicone-based foundation compared to the water-based one. It's quite likely that traditional makeup alone will not withstand sweat, oils, and tears compared to silicone airbrush foundation. So to have a closer comparison, we will have to use a primer and the setting spray along with our liquid foundation. So it seems that both the silicone-based airbrush foundation and traditional liquid foundation are actually waterproof, but when you try to rub off the airbrush foundation, it sticks to the skin better, while the traditional liquid foundation starts to flake off. I asked my mom to model for this video because she has quite a lot of pigmentation on her face, and I thought you guys would be able to appreciate the coverage of both traditional and airbrush makeup better on her face compared to somebody who has a very perfect and even complexion. While I'm doing my mom's airbrush makeup, I'm actually asking her to take some small breaths in between, or to hold her breath in between rather, because it's quite dangerous to inhale silicone makeup. So I just want to make it clear that I am not officially trained in airbrush application, but this is just a small experiment that I wanted to show to you guys, so you all could see how both methods fare side by side. The primer that I'm using on my mom's face is a silicone-based primer. So more or less it creates an even base to work with, and it also helps keep the makeup on the face longer. A big difference between airbrush and traditional makeup is with traditional makeup we definitely use a lot more products compared to airbrush makeup, so we have just a little bit more layer on the face compared to the airbrush application. by now, I guess it might be safe to say that airbrush makeup definitely takes a shorter time to apply compared to traditional makeup. But as you can see, I can actually work more product and put more coverage on the face by patting on more foundation on the skin, whereas the airbrush foundation just blends more naturally. With that being said, we can definitely understand why airbrush makeup is all the rage with high definition television and photography, because it is made to simulate how real skin looks like. So you don't want a quite thick coverage, you want something that's thin and very natural looking. Just a reminder to some of you out there, don't be fooled by the product description high definition, because high definition is actually a format and it's not a product. So just because you bought something that's high definition, that says high definition on the bottle, doesn't exactly mean that you will automatically have a very flawless face. It still depends on your application. Another big difference between airbrush and traditional makeup is that traditional makeup needs to be set with powder, while most airbrush foundations don't need this. The airbrush makeup definitely looks more natural and thinner compared to the traditional makeup, which offers a richer and fuller coverage to the face. Airbrush makeup is definitely so much more expensive than traditional makeup. So people who tend to buy the airbrush makeup are actually professional makeup artists. So it's kind of hard to achieve the airbrush effect totally or 100% without the airbrush system. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you all learned a lot from this video.